You know, I was wondering what kind of music I would have coming on. I actually was, I mean, look, Lean On Me is good. You can lean on me. I was thinking maybe something a little hype, you know, like something like, just get it. Like, this is a party. Good evening, everyone. I'm excited to be with you. While you're eating, and yeah, so I have to say, like Michael is great. When he wants people to like listen, he just stops talking. I talk louder, so just get ready if you get loud. But first, I do want to thank Michael. There are a few people who have been more important or impactful to my whole Darden experience than Michael Woodfall. You know, as individuals, it's our responsibility to be prepared, to get ready to step up, to lead, etc. But you know, there's just so much we can do. And others have to open doors at times, right? Or, you know, you get there and you're knocking on the door, someone has to open up the door and let you in. And for, like, now we're going on decades, right? You have opened the door. You have suddenly said, Nicole, you might want to go sit over there. You might want to go talk to that person. You might want to just be quiet. Nicole, you said that too. To be appointed to the Board of Trustees at 39 years old, that was a little while ago. Yeah, I can say I'm deserving. I should say I need to be in the room. There are lots of people involved. There is no way I would have been in that room without you. And I so appreciate what you have done for me and for my family and for Darden and for alums. And I just want everyone to give Michael a round of applause. I want to thank the BDSA leadership for your vision of this event and, frankly, your execution. Because we all got ideas, we all want to do something, right? It takes a lot of work to get it done. And these events matter. 25 years ago this month, I stepped on Darden's grounds for the first time at the BDSF conference that was held in Charlottesville. It was the first time I'd been on campus, and the first time I walked into a Darden classroom, like the first one when you go around the corner, it had black people in it, right? It was amazing. And so you can imagine the confidence that I got when I saw Octavia Matthews in a red jacket holding court the first time I go into a Darden classroom to help me see that, in fact, I belong there, right? And I can be successful there. And so these rooms are very important for reminding us of our black excellence. And so, you know, I was thinking about this theme around, you know, reimagining our legacy. And I was thinking, like, okay, how do you inspire a room of people who are already excellent, who are already striving, outstanding, you know, who are having impact, who are, you know, to do more than you're already doing. And I think as we, in fact, reimagine our legacy and what we want to do, I think we actually need to not think about doing more, being more ambitious, having more goals. I think we need to take time to look inward and focus on ourselves, to think about what fulfills us, what do we need to have to be satisfied and fulfilled and content in our own lives. And I mean, let me tell you kind of where that comes from. So I believe at its core, ambition, and like every ambition that we have, really it goes toward us wanting to be fulfilled, to be satisfied, right? So if you think about, I don't know, you want to have a lot of money. I think a lot of people think you would mind having a lot of money. Why? You want to give your family more, you want them to have security, you want to have security. Why? Because you believe that security, right, that wealth is going to satisfy you, that you're going to be fulfilled, right, that everyone is taken care of. There are some folks who went to business school because they want to make their mama proud. Why? Because if your mom's happy, you'll be happy. If mom's not happy, you'll never be happy, right? So really thinking about what drives us, underlying the impact we want to have, it's because we believe in our core that is going to to make us feel good, that we're going to have done something with our lives, right? And so if that's the case, right, that we have, all of these ambitions and goals are steeped in, wanting to be fulfilled, then I guess the question becomes, what do we have to do now to ensure that all this work, right, all that we're going to do, this term is already, we have achieved more than most people, like, on the whole globe. Like, we're not even like the talented 10th. We're like the 100th of the 10th, right? So we've already achieved and we will achieve more. But what is it for? And so, every goal that, like, let me give you an example. So think about it. Think about a time that you had a goal or an ambition, something that you wanted to achieve, right? And you were like, I'm working toward this. Oh, all the students, right, the last 2 years applying to business school, right? Look, the GMAT, essays, recommendations, all those, like, interviews, all of that to get in. And for a lot of us, when we got to that thing, right, you were so excited when you got in, and then you stepped on campus. Or grounds, as it's called, right? We've all been there. And you're like, I mean, it's cool. But I don't know if it feels everything you thought it was going to be, right? Look, how many of you thought you were going to walk on the campus, all of a sudden you were going to be this amazing networker, that you were, I have this great network, I'm fabulous, like, QA, decision analysis, I'm rocking it, right? And then you got in there and you're like, right? You make a comment, someone makes the same comment 5 minutes later, taking credit for just your stuff, you're like, what happened, right? You thought you had this amazing international global network, but maybe you don't. Maybe the people that you're close to are kind of like you and not right. All these things that you thought, and it was a letdown. Let me tell you that life is going to be full of letdowns that way unless we do something different. Right? We cannot show up believing that, like, we're getting to the next milestone, that is going to lead to fulfillment. Because I can tell you, as a fact, it's not going to happen. It's not going to yield the fulfillment that we want it to. And the thing is that that's not bad. I'm not saying don't chase ambition. I am as ambitious as the next person. But the thing about it is insecurities and issues I had before I got that thing, right? Before I got that car I wanted, before I got that job, before I got admitted to the fellowship program, whatever it is, I still have the same issues and insecurities once I got there. So I have to work on that, right? If I'm going to actually enjoy, right, where I'm trying to strive for. So kind of as we think about fulfillment and achievement, I want you to think about that fulfillment and contentment in today. How do, as we are striving for more, as we're going after whatever the goal is that we have, that we are working toward our own fulfillment and satisfaction in every daily moment. And that, that's easy to say. It's hard to execute, but I have to tell you, it is so well worth it. I'm going to give you a few things that I think you can do there, but I'll tell you my own experience. So last year, I got tapped on the shoulder to be considered for this amazing opportunity at MasterCard. It was one of those, like, it was like high profile, like, working with the C-suite. It was amazing. I was like, and this comes out of nowhere, so I'm like, man, that's a God. Like, I'm like, oh, right? And I went through the process, and I'm someone who tends to be self-critical, telling you the things of why I can't do something, or why there might be someone else who's more qualified. I'm also, generally, I'm an enabler. I work with incredible people. I'm usually behind the scenes in the core of the work. I might get out front every once in a while, but my thing is, how does everything run? And so I thought, like, this is it. This is the moment. And I did that job. After they got me all hyped up for it, right? And you think about, what do you do when, and so I'm mostly talking about when you get what you want. But there are a lot of things you don't get what you want to. And so how do you show up? Right? How do I go back? Now I gotta go back to my old job. After I already planned it out, I had luggage. I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great, right? The office was decorated. But that's the moment, right? Where it is about me cultivating my own fulfillment. And I have to tell you, I went back to work. It took me a minute, I'm not gonna lie. Like, luckily for COVID, I could like walk up and down the street and like no one had to see me for a couple days except my husband, who is upstairs, by the way, doing a call, but he's gonna be back soon. But I think the thing is that I have been actively pursuing finding my own fulfillment. And speaking of my husband, it's partly because of him. He is somebody who finds joy in whatever he is doing. I have to tell you, he's the happiest person during COVID. He let go of the things that, some of the stuff he wanted, he was like, I don't have to go to the city anymore, I get to walk every day, he lost 15 pounds, right? He was like, this is great. I can lay in the bed, watch TV, have my iPad, and do work. Maybe take a nap in between the call, and then get back on, right? But in the daily moments, right, finding joy. So let me tell you about how we can reimagine our legacy in this sort of day-to-day. It's like the legacy of today. So the first thing is, you gotta make a decision you wanna be fulfilled. We all know somebody who no matter what they have, they are never happy. And if you don't know that person, guess what? It's you. Right? So you've got to decide that you're going to pursue it. That you want to be fulfilled, you want to be content. And I'm not saying not be ambitious, right? Like, it's not a thing about settling, but it's that even in the journey, and even in the striving, that you are also, like, you are enjoying it. You are enjoying being up late doing work. Not like, maybe that enjoying is a strong word, right? But you're there and you're actively choosing it. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is you need to figure out for you how you cultivate your fulfillment. I think so many of us look at other people and say, oh, okay, like, they meditate. Like, oh, okay, this person, like, they go to the gym and jog and work out. Like, you've got to actually figure out what works for you, because what makes you happy may not make someone else happy. But also, what made you happy 5 years ago may not be what it is now, right? You are changing, evolving, learning. You're meeting new people. You're having new experiences. I have to say, for me, I continue to learn about myself, right? And I just feel like I'm peeling back this onion, right? And it's learning more and more and more. The thing that's been most helpful for me, one, is coaching. Somebody who can give me that reality check for that stage in life. It's not, for me, it's not about the transitions. I got that. Like, I can figure out how to transition. It's the in-between time, right? Every day going to work, how do you keep growing? Like, they weren't even seeds. The seeds were there. So I have spent a lot of time working with young professionals, these amazing, right, like, people that are in college or going back to business school or in business school, to see what they have done now. And it's not about me, but I did get to sort of flower, water the seed that then grew. It is incredible. So when you think about even those small things, those conversations that you have with a classmate, right? With a first year when you're a second year, or first year is talking with prospective students, understand that those conversations really, really matter. And so showing up in the day, right? Showing up and being excellent each day and striving for that, right? It will change the world. So the last thing is, like, breathe. Just let it go. Like, you gotta have some fun along this journey and have a good time. And sometimes it's just taking the pressure off of yourself. Be present in the moment. It's like, there are maybe folks in this room that you want to meet, that you want to talk to. I heard y'all you're killing it in terms of getting jobs. Maybe there are a few you don't have a job yet, so you're like all over it. Breathe. Take your time. Like, actually get to know the people that you're sitting with. Because I can't tell you how many folks that I just had a conversation with and that didn't mean anything, that 5, 10, 15 years later meant so much. I am at MasterCard because of random interactions, right, with Martina Hunt-Majan, who's our board chair, who at the time was the head of MasterCard, right? I was the CFO of MasterCard. I never thought about going to MasterCard, right? I'm just talking to her as a woman on the board, right? An amazing, incredible woman who is such a badass, right? And I was like, I want to talk to her. So just know that, like, be present, be in the moment. It will matter. And the last thing is give yourself some grace. I feel like if you dialed it in half the days and went hard half the days every year, you will do more than you could possibly imagine, right? So recognize you have to try every day, but you don't actually have to succeed every day. And then some days you're just like, I'm gonna try to do nothing, and that's okay too. So the last thing as I wrap, I want you all to really think about what will fulfill you. And I want you to go to work immediately. So the alums in the room, most alums that are in this room that look like us did not have an exceptional experience as a Darden student. Now the first thing is they kick our ass, so it's real hard to have an exceptional experience for something so painful. But there are a lot of things, right, that happened in that experience. We've got to figure out how you stay in, even when it's not great. Like, you are in classrooms, you are in these buildings with incredible people. You are in incredible spaces for you to learn and grow, right? To be in like all that you can be, and you have to lean in. So if a year and a half later, I mean, for my second years, who are a couple months away, if your network isn't the way you want it to, you have 3 more months before you leave campus, and you have a lifetime of extracting value from Darden afterward. So I wrote a book about women in business school and how to leverage the MBA. And the premise was, I did not get out of Darden what I needed to in the 2 years, 3, that I was there. It was only afterward going back, visiting my husband, or my boyfriend at the time, who was there, that I started to build my network, engage with faculty who would help me in my career, and build relationships and get value. And then I got involved in the alumni board. Then I got involved with the board of trustees. That has led to jobs and opportunities for me, right? So recognize that Darden is not your 2 years on grounds. It is a lifetime, especially for as much money as you pay for it, right? So I want to say to all of you, you guys are the COVID years. You guys will always go down as the COVID classes, right? It was really the main part of your experience. It's all that you know about Darden. You've heard about what others did, but like everyone has a different experience. Leverage this for what it is. Leverage the people that you have built relationships with and bonded with, but get yours. So with that, I just want to say thank you again for your time, attention, for inviting me to speak with you. Again, to the Black Business Student Association, it's just so weird. Thank you for doing this. Congratulations to Nick, who I heard talk to my husband randomly on the phone a couple days ago about business matters. And that tells you how small the world is in the network, that they had never talked before and happened to talk, and that they were both coming here to this event. So thank you again. Have a great night.